I hate to do this. I thought long and hard, but I have to do it because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes the right thing to do is also sometimes the most awkward thing to do. And I say that with a great deal of anguish and being personally feeling upset and personally also feeling a bit let down. Now, let me just go into a quick summation. Those of you that have watched me know that I've had Frank Somerville on this program a couple of times. And it wasn't a matter of ego. I guess by definition it was. He's a former Bay Area news anchor, probably has basically kissed his career goodbye. But I felt sympathy for Frank. In many ways, I saw him a lot like my brother, who had some very, very serious obstacles growing up and dealing with issues that, quite frankly, didn't help him. And sadly enough, probably led to his demise. My brother died under very tragic circumstances over 20 years ago, was my older brother. And he had a drug addiction and alcohol and was a really interesting person, a talented person, and so forth, and go on and on and on. But I'm going to cut to the chase here because I know we're in that world where people have short attention spans and they want you to get to the point. And look, I'm guilty in this regard. I still believed in Frank Somerville. I thought he was an immensely talented guy, news anchor, had that it factor, had that look like, my God, if something bad happens, if something just needs to be reported, if something that I wanted to know about on the evening news, I tuned in to watch Frank Somerville. And yes, I knew Frank, know him. We went to school at San Francisco State. Thought he was going to be as good as he became. Thought he had an immense amount of, yes, talent. And Frank was there for me in a moment of that I needed when my life was topsy turvy, dealing with my mother's death, dealing with my uncle, my aunts and uncle's death, and my brother, and all the various tragedies that hit me. Frank was there, others too, but Frank was beyond the call of duty, so to speak. But I also felt very strongly about his talent, about his wherewithal, about his amazing ability to give the news, but do so in a way in which was his significant style, his care, his passion, things that I've talked about here, which I regard as something very, very, very effective, very much needed, especially in the environment that we have today, where we have just people that are not frankly there, that are there possibly because, or probably because of the fact that they work cheap. There's really no it factor people left. So I had a high regard for Frank. And then all of his troubles began percolating. And Frank assured not just the Bay Area, assured me individually that he was getting a grip on his problems. Forget his professional problems, but his life. And I realize that we all have demons. We all have things that we wish we could conquer and do what we do and try to right our wrongs in our own life. It takes a lot of soul searching, responsibility, and all of that. And I believe Frank was on his way to, at that one day at a time kind of mantra, and he let me down too. And I have tried to maintain a objectivity here. I know that sounds ludicrous, but I believed in Frank, and I still believe him when he says that he wants to get better, that he wants to get his life back. But too many things have happened lately. Too many things. The latest is kind of the caveat. It's the proverbial, that's it. And I hope to God that Frank gets help. I hope to God that Frank can get his life back. Everybody out there has issues in life. We know that. But A lot of people have come up to me, have talked to me through normal conversation and back and forth, saying, in effect, why do you continue to be used by that guy? Folks, he didn't use me. I knew what I was doing. I like Frank. I think he's actually an amazing person. He's a bit of a narcissist, you bet. Yes. But there are a lot of narcissists in the media world. There's lots of narcissists in all aspects of the world, in all parts of the world. I knew that going in. I genuinely wanted to help Frank. I was rooting for Frank, and I'm still going to root for him, but just not here. And therefore, I am just basically doing an epilogue broadcast on the basis of Frank Somerville news. Am I going to report developments? You bet I am. That's my gig here, part of my job here, if you will. I'm just not going to be as passionate. I'm not going to talk about it as much as I used to and still do, because let's face it, he is a news story, whether we like it or not. His presence in the Bay Area, what he did, the length of time he spent at KTVU, what he meant to that station, what he seemed to mean to a lot of viewers in the Bay Area, the number 5 market. A lot of people still care about him. And I'm not saying to those of you who still care about him, you're crazy. I'm one of those. Now was one of those. I still care. I'm just not going to be as Frank Somerville centric. And that's a shame, because I believe in him. I believe in his passion. I believe that he does care, and that he cares about his family, and that he cares about you in a sort of a slightly narcissistic way. But I can't get caught up anymore in the day-to-day and the month-by-month and the year-to-year situations. They become too toxic. They become too agonizing. And I just can't do it anymore. All the while saying, look, privately, I hope Frank Somerville gets the help that he needs. I hope he looks in the mirror again and again and again and tries to get his life back together. So with that said, I'm going to leave it at that. And to those of you who have basically told me to do what I didn't do it because of that. I did it, as I said, it's the right thing to do. And it's the way I feel now. It finally got to me. Maybe I was a little late to the game, but that's the way it is for now. So with that said, I hope you have a great, great day. We will talk to you soon.